And the thing about opinion, my guy, is everybody has an opinion. Opinions are free. But before you take and consider somebody's opinion, before you give power to somebody's opinion up here in your mind, always look at the person I'm listening to. Do I want to become this person? Does this person have anything that I desire in my life? If the answer is no, don't give them access to your mind. Don't give them access to your ears. Without further ado, let's dive straight into today's topic. On my content now, what I want to do is I want to take an approach that's a bit different. Now, I want to get a bit more personal on the content, and I want to tell you guys the biggest mistakes that I made. So now when I teach you, I want to teach you from a perspective of don't make the same mistakes I did. So one of the biggest mistakes that I made, bro, until today I still sit and I laugh at my younger self. Like, damn, Kevin, what were you thinking, dummy? But one of the biggest mistakes I used to make, bro, it really used to hold me back, was I used to be so scared of what other people think of me. I used to value people's opinions way too much when those people didn't really matter to me. And the other mistake that I used to make, and I highly recommend that my guy also don't do this mistake, I used to try and prove myself too much to people that really didn't have no value. I used to chase females so much because I wanted to prove to guys that I can get females. And that was a waste of time, bro. That was actually one of the biggest mistakes that I made. I wanted to prove myself way too much to people that were not really adding value to my life. And I used to try to prove myself in doing things that were very stupid, like chasing females, because I valued their opinions too much. I wanted guys to always say, yeah, Kevin, you a dog. Kevin, you the dog. Kevin, you the man. But after I got in business, I really realized that, bro, what value do you bring? How many females you sleep with doesn't really mean you have value and you bring value to the table. When I started getting around people that I wanted to become like in my life, all they cared about was what value do you bring to the table? How can you be the asset to the team? How can you contribute to this team so that we can win even much better? They never really cared how many females I slept with. That didn't really matter. That's when I started realizing, and I had a flip mentally. And I realized that I used to value people's opinions and people that didn't even matter. And the thing about opinion, my guy, is everybody has an opinion. Opinions are free. But before you take and consider somebody's opinion, before you give power to somebody's opinion up here in your mind, always look at the person I'm listening to. Do I want to become this person? Does this person have anything that I desire in my life? If the answer is no, don't give them access to your mind. Don't give them access to your ears. Before you value a person's opinion, I will say it once more. Before you value a person's opinion, opinions are free. Everybody speaks. It's easy to talk. Words are cheap. Opinions are free. So before you listen to somebody's opinion, before you value somebody's opinion, always look at, does this person have the life that I desire? If the answer is no, then don't really put too much substance on that person's opinion. Secondly, the mistake that I used to make, my guy, is I always used to try and impress people. I would always used to try and impress people because I wanted people to love me. That was a big mistake that my younger self used to make because I was not really truly comfortable with my skin. I was not comfortable with who I am. I never really had self-confidence. I used to pretend I'm confident, but I never really had true self-confidence. Self-confidence means that you are competent and you are happy with who you are, in the inside and outside. You cannot buy self-confidence. And I used to mistake self-confidence with ego. So I used to wear all these expensive clothes, fancy clothes, designer clothes, because I wanted people to say, oh, damn, who's this guy? This guy is good looking. This guy wears good clothes. Then that used to feed my ego. I needed validation to feel good about myself. But as I went on this self-improvement journey, my guy, I really realized that self-confidence is built. You're not born with self-confidence. So what I used to do is, my guy, I used to just do things that would just better me 1% each and every day. So I first had to learn what are the benefits of physical exercise. What are the benefits of getting rid of bad habits? How do you get rid of bad habits? I used to sit down and learn about things like, what's the purpose of reading? What's the purpose of, see that behind me, YouTube? What's the purpose of feeding my mind knowledge? That's when I realized that knowledge is power. Arm yourself with knowledge. The more you know, the wise decisions you can make. Right? So I hope you guys are with me, and my guy, I hope you really don't make the mistakes that I used to make. Always realize that, bro, everybody talks, but few actually do. So before you listen to somebody, and really, that goes for the people on YouTube, the people in your life, before you listen to somebody's words, look at their character and look at their life. Their life, is that who you want to become? So what I do on my page is, all I do is I try to give value. I'm not here to coach you. I'm not a life coach. But I'm here telling you what I did to improve myself for somebody that's my age. For somebody that's just turned 22. I tell you the mistakes that I made so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. I'm not here putting on a facade telling you 3 things to do so that you can improve. No. I try to share as much value with you, realistic value. So I hope you really hear this message and you understand it thoroughly. People's opinions don't really matter. You first have to be content and comfortable with who you are. The other thing that I realized, my guy, is words. I was just reading the book 48 Laws of Power. One of the laws of power is never say more than what's necessary. So what I used to do, my guy, is, bro, whenever I used to come around people, I used to always try and talk too much to prove that I was smart, that I know more than you. I used to try to prove my intellect to people. But in the process, I was making the mistake of blabbering too much, and I was revealing too much to people. The more I speak, the more I give somebody the power to be able to use what I said against me. So that's when I realized, whenever I open my mouth, my guy, I give value. If I'm not giving value, I shut my mouth and I listen. I always say less than necessary. On all of my platforms, if you go on my platforms, all that I do is I give value. I don't really speak about my plans. Nobody really knows what my plans are. I may give value to you, but do I tell you what my moves are, what I'm planning to do, how much I make, where I'm actually sitting, where I live, where I work, which man I know, what I'm planning on doing next month? I don't reveal those stuff because it's not necessary for me to reveal it. That's my private life. That's what I keep to myself. The less I say, the less I'm giving you an opportunity to use what I say against me. So now I'm very wise and I'm mindful with my tongue. And I always, whenever I come across people, I listen more than I speak. Because when I listen, I have 2 ears, I have 1 mouth. When I listen to you, I can hear exactly what it is that I need to know. So if I'm sitting down and I'm speaking to somebody that's my enemy, or I'm in competition with, or somebody that I want to persuade, I just first find out that, okay, so I find out the person's needs. What motivates you intrinsically? What motivates you? What do you want in life? I find out that person's desire. So now if I'm asking you a question and you are telling me more, now I have more information and I know how to tackle you, how to persuade you fully, how to get you to thinking the way that I think, how to put you in line and win you. But before then, when I was speaking too much, I'm speaking, I'm not doing listening. Why? Because I'm trying to prove myself. Don't make the same mistake, my guy. Don't value people's opinions too much and say less, speak less than necessary. When you speak to somebody now, you don't want to be a robot, of course. Always be a good conversationalist. When I speak to people, before then I used to blabber too much about my life. Now what I do is people really love talking and people really love talking about themselves. So all I do whenever I come across somebody, I just ask simple questions. I direct the conversation. I ask a question, then you tell me. Then from what you tell me, I ask more questions about that to make sure that I can conversate with you. Then I put in a few things here and there, but I always, whenever I leave a conversation, the other person said more than I said. I just find out more information, more data. So that is a very powerful tool. Use that tool as a guy if you really want to be more smart and more logical and be more persuasive and win people to your way of thinking. I hope you enjoy this content, and till next time, deuces.